You know, how are you doing is actually not the first question we usually ask each other. It seems to be, oh, and what do you do? And I just think that is so telling. You're at a cocktail party, or you've met a friend, or you've met this group here, and your default, our societal default is, and what do you do? And, 3 years ago, I had a really, really great answer to that question. Like, I had a great answer to that question because I had this job that was this endless escalator, bigger salaries and more promotions and a bigger corner office and more opportunities to travel. And I had this level of perceived expertise in my field, and people would seek me out to have me speak on at events or this kind of thing, right? So there was this understanding of me in this very small pond of being an expert. And I think that what happened is that I confused my sense of importance, because of this very important job, with a sense of self. And I think that these really fancy, the great title and the great salary and all that, I think this allowed me to push down and push away just how much I hated that job. I hated it. I hated it. My values were misaligned with the company's values. And every day I used to wake up and think, oh God, no, I can't go to work today. But I kept going to work, and I couldn't keep doing it anymore. And so one day I didn't, and I quit. And 47 years old, and I guess that's a pretty classic age for a midlife crisis. I quit without something to go to, but I had been thinking for probably close to 20 years about something that I wanted to go to, something that I was actually really afraid to talk about, and something that I was afraid to say out loud. I was afraid to answer the question, what do you do with this particular answer? And also at 47, I thought, oh, everybody else, they're going to have been working for so long, they're all going to be experts, and I won't be. And the other thing was that every time I looked at how to do this thing that I had been thinking about for close to 20 years and wanting to do, every time I looked, it was the same answer, right? It was 2 years of school, it was a 2-year apprenticeship, and it was an apprentice's salary, which, let me tell you, is not a 6-figure salary. And there is no corner office, right? So I was 47. And I had all these like short-term gigs lined up because, I was an expert, and people wanted me to write their stuff for them. And it was fine. I could just float. But I was happy to wake up every morning because I wasn't going to that work anymore. But I wasn't being truthful about what I wanted to do. And it was all fear-based. It really was. So I turned 48 and I signed up for funeral school, and I found an apprenticeship, and I took science classes even. And I discovered this sense of belonging as a funeral director. And I think that this discovery, I think that it comes in no small part because of my inexpertise, right? This sense of belonging actually allowed me to think about different types of belonging and how we belong to each other, something Marjorie said earlier, and who we belong to and who belongs to us was all of a sudden in my head, right? And I was no expert. I was not good at ordering flowers or raising arteries or sitting in arrangement rooms or cleaning the hearse or anything like that. I was really actually not very good at that at all. And I certainly wasn't good at walking beside families, literally walking beside them as they held and carried their dead from one place to their final place. wasn't good at that either. But I started to get okay at some of it, and I started to get better at it. And as I did get better, I started to see this evidence of these different types of belonging. And I saw that evidence in a space, a societal space that does everything it can, like everything it can, to make death not belong, to keep death away, to make sure death has no place. Like, think about this, right? General public, members of the general public, we cannot go into a morgue. We wouldn't even know where the morgue is, really, in a local hospital or whatever, right? Almost all of us, any general public member. But if we did know, if we found out, and if we somehow gained access to it, we would have to go by the transfer area, the recycling area, the garbage area to get to that morgue. When people die, they don't know what to do. When people lose someone, they don't know what to do. And the call I most frequently get, the way the call starts, is, someone I love has died and I don't know what to do next. And you know what? People, like, this is the one thing that we all have in common. This is the one thing that we all belong to and belongs to all of us. And yet we don't know what to do or where to start when it does happen. So, you know what? Against this backdrop, it didn't matter so much that I wasn't much of an expert, right? So that was calming, at least. And in our society today, we've forgotten this one major point of belonging that I see, that I'm so privileged to see now all the time, and that's this idea of who we belong to and who belongs to us. And it doesn't take an expert to see that we belong, right? And our dead, they very much belong to us. Death is amazing feature. Death is this incredible, important that is as important and meaningful and beloved, or could be every bit as our living mentors. 2 years ago, I had kind of lost track of myself. I had confused what I did and how other people valued that with who I was. And I had become such an expert at work, at least, that actually I had stopped learning things. And what could have been, I could have had a midlife crisis, but I realized actually what happened is I had this midlife discovery, and I actually created a new answer to that question: what do you do? And I get to say now, oh, I'm a 50-year-old apprentice. I'm a 50-year-old apprentice funeral director. It actually changes the course of the conversation most of the time, to tell the truth. So, I think that I want to invite you, and like all of us, I want to invite everyone to think of themselves as belonging to this club. Like, I belong to this amazing club, not of 50-year-old apprentices, but and that's actually a pretty cool club, I've discovered now. But this other club that I belong to is the club of people who will die one day. And I would love to invite you, I would like to invite everyone to embrace their own inexpertise with that concept, but embrace the fact that they are an honored member of this amazing club, and to just dare to imagine what you could learn from this incredible teacher, Death. So, thank you.